Okay, hi guys, back again. This video I'm going to be telling all of the dreams that I had over the years up until this week. I'm going to start off with the dreams from this week because I remember them more clearly. This is long overdue, but I'm doing it now. So, the first dream I'm going to talk about was from Tuesday, the 25th of this week. This dream had to do with the Pope, okay? I don't even know how to start this off. Well, all I know was I was at my mom's house, and my family members are always in my dreams. Well, not always, but, majority of the time, so, but my mom, I was at her house, and we were discussing, God and Jesus, and, and it's like, I don't know, like my mom and my brother was there, and me and my brother, well, me and my mom I was telling her, about the gospel and everything. It's not like she doesn't know, but it seemed like my mom and my brother were leaning more towards Catholicism, which, hello, we were never Catholics, but I think this dream has a significance to it. It's like me and my mom was talking, and then my brother came, and he started saying, oh, I have God in my life, and, basically defending the Catholics and the Pope and all that. And I'm like, don't you know that the Pope is freaking evil, dude, and Catholicism is a false religion, and this is nothing against Catholics, okay? Not talking about the people per se, but, it's a false religion. I'm just telling the truth here. Okay, if you listen and you see all the things that the Pope is saying and what they did and how they're doing it, I mean, he came out a couple of months ago that basically mocking God and bashing him, not God per se, but Jesus, and he was just like calling all commandment followers, the people who follow the 10 Commandments, he was calling them cowards. Yes, look it up. Well, anyway, and then it switched to me seeing him in this church. And I don't think it was like a Catholic church, because the Catholic churches have huge decorations. They always go all out with their little things. So this was more like, I want to say, like a Baptist church, something like that. And he was walking up and down the aisles. And what it looked like to me was he was sitting there doing black magic. This is what I saw in my dream, people. He had something like, I don't have anything to show y'all, but he had like this little cloth, like, how magicians like pull rabbits out of a hat, or birds from under a cloth or something. That's what he was doing, but it was black and smoky looking. Like, I can't explain it. All I know was evil, and it was black magic in the church, people. Okay, that's what I saw, and this happened Tuesday, the 25th, right? Okay, now my second dream from this week was on the 26th, so it was Wednesday. And what I saw was I was just sitting on the back porch of my house, I'm guessing. It wasn't nothing like this. I don't know. It was my house in the dream, right? And it seemed like I lived in the country or something, like the backwoods or whatever. And I look up, and I had a friend with me. This friend, he was my friend from Oklahoma. I don't know how he ended up in my dream, but nevertheless, he was there, and we were sitting there talking and discussing whatever, and then I happened to look up, and I see this huge flying saucer going through the sky. Like, it was crashing, basically coming straight down into our backyard, But the weird part was, it when it crashed, it wasn't no smoke, no fire, no nothing. It just boom in the bushes right by our house, right in our backyard. And then I told her, I was like, let's go inside, yo. I ain't staying out here. But then the curiosity in me, I did run to the back door, but then I looked back out just to see if I would see anything. And sure enough, people, I saw one of those freaking aliens. And then the crazy part was, it was peeping from behind the house looking at us. And I was like, oh, and I ran inside. I was like, close all the doors, close all the windows, because we like had windows cracking. I was not playing. But in reality, these things, they can still come in, okay? Because what I really believe is these things are more spiritual than anything. Like I said, if y'all don't know my stance on aliens, they're really demons. And I think it's more connected to the spiritual realm. Like, I really do believe that. And so, how some people see it, or some people get, what do they say, abducted or whatever. I think it has more to do with the spiritual realm, while some people see it and some people don't. And that's what I saw. I woke up, but it was terrifying and crazy. The third dream just happened Thursday, the 27th, and it has more to do with what I'm going through in my family personally with my daughter. I'm not going to get into all the details, but this dream revealed to me my calling for God's will, okay? Let's just say my daughter, she did something, I guess cursed at me or something. And then she took off running because she know I don't play that, okay? She's never in real life cursed or did anything like that to me, okay? But in this dream, she did. And she took off running up the stairs, and I ran behind her, and she ran in her room, and I got in her room, opened the door, and I caught her arm. I was like, and before you know it, I had looked up, and I seen her sleeping in the bed. So, okay, I'm freaking out now, because who is this that I got, in my hand? I'm like, so I started backing away. I was like, it startled me. And that thing, because that thing was not my daughter, it just looked like her and sounded like her, but it wasn't. And let me tell you something. Every time demons are in my dreams, I always feel their presence in a horrible way. Like I feel weak, like mentally, spiritually, everything, physically. I feel weak, and that's what started happening when I noticed that this thing was a demon. And so when that happened, it just lunged at me. And then I started calling for my fiance, Henry. I was like, Henry, and then he came running in the room, but then he ran back out. I don't know, it was crazy. But it was a significance to this, okay? Because then I started thinking about Jesus, okay? And then it was crazy. I started thinking about Jesus, and then I grabbed this thing that was supposed to be my daughter, and then I started saying the blood of Jesus and all this stuff, right? And then I saw my hands like glowing, like I can't explain it. It started glowing. That's all I can say. Like light started coming from my whole hands or whatever, and I basically cast this thing or whatever, cast it out or whatever, like, because it just disappeared. But I felt the power that came over me when this happened. So I say that, because I've been praying for a long time to the Lord. I was like, I want to know what my calling is. I know all of us have a calling or whatever on our lives, that the devil tries to hinder us from, okay? And he told me. And he gave me multiple confirmations after that. But my calling is deliverance. Okay? I've been called to deliver people from these things. Okay? And I know everyone can cast out devils in Jesus' name. If you believe in him, we all have that gift. But I believe this is particularly what I'm called to do. From what he showed me, and last night, my child was delivered and saved for real this time, you know, because I told y'all in my last video that we cast out the demons or whatever, but that was more connected to me and her, if y'all go back in my videos. But she let him back in, okay, and these were more wickeder than the first, okay. If y'all read that verse, that, what is it? I'm not going to look for it right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about if y'all saw my other videos. But yeah, so that happened. I'm not going to get into details because that's more personal for me and my family. But that happened. So it just so happens that I had that dream Thursday night, Friday night, which was yesterday, you know, but I'm not going to get into details. It was miraculous though. Now, I'm going to get into the dreams, because I was just going to make this video about the dreams that I had this week, but I'm going to, because I need to get this out here. It's been a minute. So I need to tell y'all these dreams that I had over the years. Now, I have no idea, okay? I'm thinking it started all the way back in, since 2011, all the way through to 2017. So I can't give y'all the dates of when I had these dreams. And I can only remember certain dreams. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess 7 different dreams I had over the years. So I'm going to talk about the first one. And these are in no particular order. I was just writing them down as I remember, because I've been praying to the Lord to help me remember these things. You know, I wasn't living for Him back then, so, but I guess He helped me remember the important ones. So, the first dream had to do with angels and demons. Yes, angels and demons. Okay, so it was like, and I'm going off the dome here, okay? So, please forgive me if I, like, get stuck or whatever. But all I know was I was in this arena, the best way I could explain, like, you know, how Rome had back in the days. Yeah, that kind of arena. And I'm on the sidelines, okay? And I remember when I had this dream, like, I was reaching out to people, like, you know, online, Google, YouTube, whatever, way back when, and like, I was like, do you guys know what this means? I don't have any idea. Like, one person gave me their thoughts of it, but anyway, so I think I understand it more now than I did back then. I was in this arena, I was on the sidelines, and literally, I saw angels and demons in their original form. Like, they look, you know how angel look and a demon look, right? Well, this arena was loaded with them, and it wasn't just standing there. These angels and demons were battling non-stop, and I'm just sitting there looking at these thousands of freaking angels and demons battling in this arena, and it was crazy, because I'm standing on the sidelines, and like, I was this close to it, because like, one angel was flying by me, and I was so close, like, I felt the wing hit the side of my face, you know, that's how close I was, and they were just battling, and I woke up. Now, I was thinking, like, okay, maybe those are, you know, my demons fighting my angels. I didn't get to understand it, but now I really think that the Lord allowed me to see into the spiritual realm of what goes on daily. While we sleep, people, there's a battle for our souls, okay? And we're in the middle of it. We are in the middle of it. And that's what I saw. I saw the angels and demons battling. And I think, like, that one person that told me their thoughts about it, you know, he told me that maybe the Lord is trying to tell you it's time to get off the sidelines and choose a side, you know, and fight for him and us, you know, fight for your soul, fight for the Lord, you know, get off the sidelines and start doing something. Of course, I took it with a grain of salt because I was still living in the world at that time. Moving on. This dream, I call it a subway to hell. 'Cause that's what it looked like to me. I mean, I can't explain it any other way. So it started out with me, and I used to live in New York, so subway was nothing to me, you know. And so in my dream, it started out with me going down into the subway, standing on the platform, waiting for the train to come. And the train came, and I got on the train, and this train was packed. But that's nothing new in New York. Certain trains, certain lines, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about, New Yorkers. It's always packed. So, but this was different, people. I mean, I went on here in this train, and it was packed, but I felt like dreadful. Like everybody on there, like they looked scared, including me. Like I was like, oh my God, you know what? You know, I couldn't explain it. Like, you know how normally, like if there's a lot of people, there's a lot of noise. People, you can hear a pin drop in this packed train. Like nobody was saying nothing. Okay, and they all had dreadful looks on their faces, and I'm sitting up there like they were scaring me because of what I felt when I stepped onto this car, onto this train, you know. And you know, we're just going. The train took off going, and you know how you can look out the window and you'll see the next stop, or you know, some trains they go, you know, and you can see the outside or bridges or whatever. Like you didn't see nothing. It was just pitch black, and I kept thinking to myself, like, where is everything? There was no lights, no nothing. Like, granted, some of the tunnels are dark, but you still see some lights or whatever. But there was absolutely nothing, people. And we rode this train for a while, and it's like the closer we got, the more scared everybody was. Like, I can't explain that. Like, I felt what they were feeling. Like, you know, and then we reached the end of the line. If y'all know what that means that there was no place for the train to go after that. It reached the end of the line. It was a brick wall. It was nothing left. So, you know, the end of the line. So the train would have to go back the way it came and pick up more people or whatever. But what was weird to me was there was no stops, no nothing in between that. That was a long train ride, and so we reached the end of the line, and like the doors open, and like honestly, people were scared to get off, but we did get off. But we were like hesitating, looking around and stuff. And when I tell y'all, people, there was no way out. There was no exits, no stairs, no nothing. Like we're just standing there, like, what do we do? You know, like what's going on? And like the train doors closed when everybody else got off. The train's doors closed, and you know, went back the other way. People, all I can tell y'all what happened next was I started hearing, we started hearing this noise. Now the best way for me to describe this noise was like, y'all know how it sounds when like a lot of bats, or you know the noise that they make. I'm not gonna sit up here and try to make it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what I heard. That's what we heard. And I started looking around, and of course everybody started looking down the tunnel where the train had, you know, where it came from. So we're looking that way, and lo and behold, people, what I saw with my own two eyes was these bat-like creatures, and I'm calling it what it was. It was demons. These things, they were more than bats because they were like our body, but with wings, but hideous all over, you know. And they just started flying over people. People were panicking. There was no way out. Like I said, there was no exits, no stairs, no nothing. There was no way out. And people just was running to and fro, man. Like, there was nowhere to go. They were just screaming. Some people were ducking. And I'm just looking at this. And these freaking demons are terrorizing these people, like ripping off their flesh and throwing it, like just having a good old time with these people. I don't know. It's like I was just there in the spirit, I guess, because they didn't see me. They didn't see me, but I saw what was going on. And then I woke up. Like, that was crazy. Okay, and that's why I say I call that dream a subway to hell, because I believe that was actually a level of hell that the Lord allowed me to see. What else can I say, you know? Moving on. This dream had to do with coming straight out of the Bible, okay? If y'all know that verse, if I can find it. If I can find it, but I don't want to make this video too long. But y'all all know about Revelations and the locusts coming out of the bottomless pit. That's what I saw in this dream. I don't know how it was two places at once, but I saw like the bottomless pit opening and then the locusts coming out. But then at the same time, I was in this house with these strangers. Like, I guess this was during the tribulation. Like, he showed me parts of the tribulation, because nothing was the same. Like, people were gathering with other people trying to survive. That's kind of like how it was, like the apocalypse. Yeah, that's kind of how like it was. And I was in this like house, you know, and with these other people, and we were just hiding, and we hearing all this chaos outside. And then, like, I don't know, something came in this house. It sounded crazy, and I wasn't trying to find out what it was, so I took off running outside. And there was nowhere to run, people. Basically, anywhere you hid, you know, there was no safe place. There was no safe place. You know, you run outside and then you get attacked by locusts, by swarms. Like, that's what was going on in this dream. I can't tell you all the details because this happened, you know, a long time ago. But I'm just telling you what I remember. And people were like this, you know. But, you know, there was nothing you can do. You were getting attacked. You were getting killed or, you know, tortured or whatever. So that was that dream. I know I didn't explain it, you know, in great detail, but, you know, that's it. That was just, he was just showing me different parts, you know, and then I woke up. But this dream, now this is crazy to me, how I had this dream. This was years ago. This is before, let's just say, this is years before the Olympics were held in Rio, okay? Actually, I believe this is when, what was in Rio? Because I had a dream based on Rio. Well, Angry Birds movie was based in Rio. Yeah, I believe so. It was during that time. And I went to sleep, and I know I was in Rio because I saw the statue of Christ, okay? Because we're not supposed to be doing stuff like that, but yeah, that's how I knew it was real. And I'm just walking on the beach, and it was so beautiful. I've never been to Rio in my life before, people, so in this dream, I did. And I was walking on the beach. It was crystal clear waters. Everything was so beautiful. I remember having my toes in the sand. You know, it was a peaceful dream. But the only weird part about this dream, people, was I looked up, and no lie, and this is just giving me goosebumps for what's happening now, okay? Mind you, this dream was years before any of this, okay? I looked up in the sky, and I seen like a freaking kingdom or something, like the Masons motto is as above, so below. And that's what I was seeing. Like, I was on earth, but I'm looking up and I'm seeing, like, the exact same thing in the sky. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, a kingdom in the sky. I'm not saying it was a godly kingdom. It was just like reflecting what was on this earth. And it just brings me back to what them people saw in China, okay, where they saw a city floating in the sky. Now, I seen this years before this, okay, and it was crazy. I didn't know what to think of it at the time. I just was like, I was like, oh, that was a better, more peaceful dream than the ones that I was having before, because, I was working hard during that time, and I said, if I couldn't get a vacation physically, unless at least I got one mentally. So, yeah, that was that, and it was in Rio. And what else? Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I don't know which one I should talk about now. Okay, I'm going to talk about the rapture dream. I only had one rapture dream, and it wasn't a good one. Cause this time I was still living in the world, so the Lord, this is the dream that really shook me. Okay, it's like me and Sonara, my kid, were walking through the city. It was a beautiful day. I don't think that city was New York I was in. It was something like, I don't know, like Rome or Paris, or it was something beautiful like that. Like, and we had our shopping bags, and people just walking and having a good time, doing what they do or whatever. And all of a sudden, people, I heard this loud noise in the sky. Like, I'm not going to say it was trumpets. I can't mimic what I heard. It was something that I've never heard before. And somehow in this dream, I knew everyone around me, not even around me, but the entire world, I knew that they heard this same sound, okay? And all of a sudden, like, everybody dropped to their knees, including me. Everybody dropped to their knees and they started confessing that the Lord is Lord. Okay, this is straight out of the Bible, people. He said, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. This is straight out of the Bible. We couldn't control it. We had to do it. Me too. Okay? And somehow I knew that there was certain people around me that didn't believe in Christ. That wasn't their religion, or they were atheists or whatever. They were saying it too. They were confessing his name too, people, in this dream. But what really freaked me out, what really scared me, now I knew like the Lord was standing behind me. And it's not like I felt like he wasn't standing on ground, okay? But if I couldn't turn my head, okay? This is how I knew that he was behind me. Like I was trying to turn my head, but I couldn't, okay? Like not behind me, but in the sky behind me. If this is making any sense to you guys, but I couldn't turn my head. I wanted to, but I couldn't. And then all of a sudden my daughter fell over in my hands and started like convulsing. And literally I saw the life or her soul leave her body, and her body was just left blue. And I was crying. This was happening to everyone around me. Like certain people would just drop and start convulsing. Now this thing, I've heard some people in their rapture dreams. Mine was nothing like that. This was horrible. I mean, just imagine your kid dropping dead in your arms and there's nothing you can do about it. But that message was for me personally. Okay, I was going to be left here. He had to make it as violent as possible for me to get serious, okay? I'm sure it's not going to happen like that, where people just going to start convulsing and die, or not really die, but he's going to take their soul, like, I'm sure it's not going to happen like that, but he had to get to me somehow. So, and that's when I really started thinking and leaning towards him more, although I slipped back into sin and forgot all about him since then at certain times, but you know, that really shook me to the core. And that was nothing to play with. That was as real as I'm sitting here telling you this. That was real to me. Like, it was crazy. So, anyway, now I'm going to tell you, I think that was all the dreams I had. Now, this was a more recent dream that I put it on Facebook in a post, but I never said it, you know, sat here and recorded or anything. So I decided to slip this one in. This is about enemies, okay? Since I started living for Christ, you know, I had to turn my back on my old ways, and that includes me hanging out with certain people, doing certain stuff, and stuff like that. Now I'm going to just read this verse, okay, because people got the wrong idea about what it means to follow Christ, okay? It's not about, oh, let's just all love each other no matter what religion, no matter what you do. Because Christ clearly says, if you are a follower of me, then do not hang out with the heathens, do not eat with them, do not sit with them, do not do none of that. And people in their minds, I don't know, because they're not reading their Bible, okay, just think that the Lord, you know, came for peace on this earth and all this. Let me just read this verse to you, okay? This is coming out of Luke 12, chapter 12, verse 51 through 53. This is Jesus' words now. It's in red. This is Jesus Christ's words out of his own mouth. Okay. Suppose, yea, that I come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So, for him to break it down like that, you pretty much get what he's saying. Because if you're not following Christ, then I can't rock with you, man. I can't. And that makes a lot of sense to me. You can't still hang out with your old friends and do what you used to do. That's slipping back into sin. That's separating you. Okay, first of all, sin separates you from God. Point blank, period. This is why Jesus died, to eradicate this, okay, to eradicate sin. Well, not to eradicate it, because he will be eradicating it on his second coming, okay, but for us to have a chance to make it into his kingdom, okay, by repenting. What is repenting? Repenting is turning your back on your old life, or turning your back on your sins and living for him. Because for me these days, I don't have my eyes fixed on the worldly things, people, or my status, or if I'm popular, or this or that, or how many views I'm going to get. I don't care if I get just one, because if this message touch and reach just one person, I know I did what I was supposed to do. It's not for popularity, okay? That's what people need to understand. Okay, you need to evaluate yourselves. You say you're doing stuff for Christ, but you need to evaluate your real motives. Okay? So, I just wanted to read that verse. Now, getting into the dream about my enemies. And I know it was enemies because this dream was nothing about, it was all about snakes. And who do we know to be the serpent? Satan. Snakes are never a good thing, okay, people? I don't know how some people could have them as pets, but let's move on. So in this dream, I was playing basketball. It was like in this courtyard, but the court was surrounded by like tall grass on all 4 sides, right? And I'm shooting hoops or whatever, because I love to play basketball in real life. I'm shooting hoops, and then the ball hits the rim, it bounces off and rolls into the grass, right? So, I step off the court into the grass, and the moment I stepped in the grass, like, I didn't know there was any snakes there, okay? But when I stepped into the grass, they started spiraling. Now, I don't know how to explain this, people. I don't know snakes to do that. They're slither, but they don't just jump up like springs. This is what they were doing in my dreams. The moment my foot touched the grass, and I just saw them all around after that, like because they were springing up. I'm like, what the heck? Now, I wasn't scared. That was weird because I cannot stand snakes, but in this dream I was not scared. I was like, okay, and I just started to still walk to try and get the ball, but making sure I don't step on them or get bit, and someone told me to turn my head, and I turned my head, and no lie, people, I see, and there was like a wooded area here, and I look and I see this huge, how big anacondas are? Well, this thing was bigger, and I knew it was bigger without even seeing its body. You can tell the snake size by its head. This snake head was like this big. Do you see my hands put together like this? Well, it was actually bigger than that. I don't have big hands, but this is the best I can do. That's how big this snake head was. Okay? I'm not going to go on and exaggerate the snake eyes was red and all. No, it wasn't. But it was there, and it was huge, and it was bigger than all these little skinny snakes I was seeing springing up. And it was just sitting there looking at me. And do you understand? Like, sometimes it looked like a snake could be smiling. I don't know how to explain it. Like, they mouth look. Like, that's how it looked to me in the dream. I was like, I just knew what it meant. Because of the things I was going through at the time, I knew what it meant, and I said it on my Facebook page. But these videos are going to be making it to my YouTube page as well. So, what I'm going to explain to you what this was. This was, okay, this was the little snakes stand for the people that basically, y'all make yourself my enemies. That's y'all. But let's just be for real, okay? That huge snake over there, that anaconda, whatever it was supposed to be, that was Satan. Because he was bigger than all the rest, and he was subtle. He was just sitting there, watching the other ones do what they do, okay? And it says in the Bible that Satan works in the spirits of the children of disobedience, and it's true. That's what that was showing me. Okay? So y'all want Satan to use y'all because y'all not right with God, or y'all don't care about it. Y'all don't care about your souls or whatever. But see, y'all can't touch me, boo, because I'm covered. Okay? And Satan is just loving it in that dream. It was ridiculous. I'm like, okay, whatever. I woke up and I said, that was cute. But whatever. Moving on. I'm going to talk about my demonic attacks that I've been having. I know I said this is just going to be dreams, but I'm just going to fit everything in this one video so I don't have like multiple videos. So I know my first demonic attack, and of course scientists would like to say that it's called sleep paralysis, right? It's demonic attack, okay? My first demonic attack was back in 2011, when I first found, my sister, my blood sister, because I was adopted, my blood sister found me on Facebook, okay? Thank God for the internet, right? In some instance. But, and, I basically moved with her after a while. She got me out of a bad situation. Still thank her for that. And I went to Oklahoma for the first time. This is how I ended up in Oklahoma, my sister. For the first time, I saw my sister face to face. I didn't even know she existed. I didn't even know I had a sister on my father's side. I never knew about her. But anyway, a lot of stuff was coming up against me at that time. Let's just say, I'm not even going to get into all of that. People didn't like it. People didn't like it. Satan didn't like it. Nobody liked it. That we reunited. Okay. Anyhow, so it was one night, and let me tell you something about alcohol, people. Why they call it spirits. Okay. But one night, me and my sister was drinking, and my sister can tell you, I was always a lightweight, and I always passed out before anyone. Couldn't take alcohol. I was more of a smoker, if you know what I mean. But I passed out that night. I know, like, me and my sister were hanging out, and I think I was laying on her lap or something. Well, anyway, I woke up to the whole house being pitch black. Like, everybody was already gone to bed or whatever. But let me tell y'all something. I was out there on that couch, knocked out. And I woke up, like, suddenly because I thought somebody called my name. I heard my name. They said Vicky. Okay? I jump up, nobody's there, so I brush it off, whatever. At this time, I already slept most of the alcohol off. It's like not like I was still drunk and this and that, right? I couldn't drink to the point where I was like that anyway. So then at this time, my sister gave me and my daughter her son's room, which was my nephew's room, okay? So my daughter was already knocked out in the bed back there, so I was getting up to go and get in the bed. My daughter always was scared of the dark, so in my nephew's room, he had a closet at the foot of his bed, a walk-in closet, and the light was already on, okay? I told some people this story, but I'm telling it to the world. So the light was already on in the closet or whatever. So I'm telling y'all this for a reason. So then I get in the bed, and when I get in the bed, I start feeling, and this is how I say, like, I can always tell when demons are around. Okay, I start getting these uncomfortable. I can't explain. All I could say was it's a dreadful, weak kind of feeling. Like I feel weak, like so weak that I can't even move my arm, or I'm trying to explain the best way I can. It's an unexplainable feeling. Anyway, and then I lay down, and so I start thinking. Okay, I start thinking bad thoughts, and I'm sure that was the demon already attacking me, because I started thinking about demons, okay, because I knew what I was feeling, okay, and all of a sudden this chair that my nephew had, my sister bought for him, like when he was like, what, 1-2 years old, I don't know, it was years ago, it was stuffed in the closet for years, on top of all of his newer toys, okay, if you can imagine that, right? Well, this chair, and for it to start going off, somebody needs to sit in there. I'm going to tell y'all what kind of chair it was. It was an Elmo chair, okay? And when you sit, I don't know if y'all kids have this, or y'all know what I'm talking about. When you sit in it, it goes, the Elmo laugh. I can't make the freaking noise, but that's what it started doing. It started going off, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm sitting here trying to ignore it. I know there was no way in hell, people, that this chair would just automatically start going off. All the feelings that I'm feeling, and now this chair is going off. I mean, non-stop. Like I said, this chair was in that closet collecting dust, people. Because my nephew was already, my nephew and my daughter is 7 days apart, if you can believe that. Yes, they're 7 days apart. And this freaking chair was there for all that time. And like I said, for it to go off, somebody needs to be sitting on it or pressing it or whatever the case may be. It started going off non-stop. So I pull the cover over my head. And I'm trying not to think about it, right? So I'm trying to go to sleep, but then you got this chair. See, everything was set up perfectly for this thing, okay? Because yes, sleep paralysis says that, or the scientist says that sleep paralysis is a state between sleeping and not sleeping, like you're in the middle of this. And then this is what I'm saying. Everything was set up perfectly for this, because if it wasn't for that chair, I would have been able to go to sleep fully. But please explain the chair to me, scientists. And I'm not done with my story yet, okay? So anyway, it's like I started having this nightmare, okay? In the middle of all of this, like I don't know how I was ended up like going to sleep, but not really. But I started having this nightmare. And of course, my mother is always at the freaking forefront of my nightmares, but it's a more personal story about that I'm not getting into. But anyway, she was sitting there like calling me all the worst horrible names that a person could even think of, and then some, right? So as she's standing there just doing this to me, like just calling me out my name, calling me all these things, and every time she would call me something, I would just throw up. Like I'm standing at this sink, and when I tell y'all people, like this was the worst kind of nightmare I've ever had. Like I'm standing there throwing up, and I see every time I throw, like I had this sink full, but yet it wasn't overflowing, because the sink right before my eyes would just get deeper, and like it would just expand and get deeper. I don't know how to explain this thing, people. Like the sink was full, but yet not overflowing. The sink wasn't a normal sink, because the sink kept growing in depth, okay? And I'm sitting there throwing up. I mean, it was horrible, people. And then I woke up, okay? I woke up, and then I just felt a really uneasy. I mean, it was the worst than I was feeling before I fell asleep, okay? I just knew something was going to happen. I started thinking about the hag. My South Carolina people, y'all know what I'm talking about, because y'all the one that told me about it. I wish I never knew, okay? About the hag, if y'all know about that story where, you know, at night, a freaking demon, if you sleep on your, what is it? If you sleep on your back, or if you sleep on your stomach. No, if you sleep on your back, then you have a more chance of the hag coming to get you. And what it does is it sits on you, and you can't move and can't do nothing. Well, anyway, I started thinking about that. I was like, oh, God. So then I was like, well, it's not going to get me, because I'm going to turn on my side, or either I'm going to turn on. Now, mind you, my little baby was sleeping in the bed before I even came in there. So she didn't, you know, she was a baby at that time. So then I say, you know, I'm going to turn on my belly so it can't get me. I was so ridiculously retarded, people. So I'm laying on my belly, and all of a sudden, mind you, the chair was still going off this whole time, okay? After this little nightmare vision or whatever I had, you know, I came back into full sentence. The chair was still going on. Like, I cannot stand Elmo to this day because of that experience. I'm not lying to y'all, okay? And I, like, when I turned on my belly, like, I felt like that demon was in that closet looking at me, okay? I didn't see anything. Like I said, the light was still on, and it's not like it started flickering or anything. The only thing that was uneasy was the presence around me and the freaking chair that still I cannot explain to this day. And I turned on my belly. The moment I done that, I felt two hands grab my ankles, okay? And like ricocheted itself on top of my back now, okay? So my idiotic self is on my stomach, and this thing is on my back. I couldn't move. Like, I'm sitting there fighting. I couldn't lift up my head. I'm sitting there screaming for my sis. I'm like, sis! In my head, I feel like I'm shouting to the top of my lungs, you know? I'm like, sis! But nothing was coming out, people. Absolutely nothing was coming out. I'm just like moving my mouth. It was a horrible experience. Anyhow, like, let me tell y'all something. I'm sitting there fighting this thing by myself, and then I thought about Jesus. I said, Jesus, and then it, right there, it left. Like, I was so crazy, y'all. I was so warped after that experience. Like, I got off the bed, like, I was tripping up in the covers. I hit myself on the freaking closet door trying to get out the room. I left my baby in that room, y'all. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because I said, God protects babies and fools, man. That thing wasn't after her. It was after me. And she is protected. Yes, I sound like a coward now. I was a coward, y'all. I wasn't playing around. I got out that room. I ran into my sister's room. Of course, you know, she already had 911 on her speed dial because she's in the Air Force, you know. She don't sleep hard or whatever. So I ran and I was like, yo, sis, something in that room, man. Something grabbed me, something in that room. She was like, sis, calm down. You were dreaming. I'm like, I'm not dreaming, dude. I'm not. She was like, all right, I got to get up for work in a couple of hours. So just get into bed with me, you know, and just lay down. I was like, oh my God. So I'm sitting there. I knew I wasn't going to sleep. I just laid there. Okay. Now, explain to me this, scientist, and my sister. Because she the one that kept saying, oh, you was dreaming, sleep paralysis, and all this stuff. She was looking it up online the next morning. But please explain to me why did we hear footsteps coming from my nephew's room, where I just left, to my sister's room. Like somebody had on hard sole shoes. And my sister's house, you know, had hardwood floors. And it was walking from my nephew's room to my sister's room, back and forth. I'm like, sis, you hear that? Explain that to me, please. Okay? Please explain that to me. Let alone the chair continue to go off. Okay? Explain that, scientist. Please do. All right, now. So that was my first demonic experience or demonic attack in reference to sleep paralysis. I know mine is not the craziest story that I've heard, but it is pretty crazy to me. After that, I haven't had any more crazy experiences like that. I have had sleep paralysis a couple of more times after that. Let's see, I was at my mom's house, and of course, see, it doesn't happen that crazy like that anymore, because now I know what power I possess in Jesus' name. Okay. But they don't stop though. You know, them demons don't stop. They don't rest. But anyway, I was at my mom's house sleeping, and of course I started feeling it coming over my body, and of course I just said the blood of Jesus, and it was done. You know. I have had it, however, here in Henry's house. And this was something different, okay? This freaking thing, let me just tell y'all, I'm laying here in the bed, sleeping. I thought I was asleep. And all of a sudden, like, it's like somebody took me off this bed and threw me at the foot, on the floor at the foot of the bed, like I was on the floor. Like, this is the best I can explain it. I don't know. I was so confused and dazed because it got me off guard. Like I said, I'm laying here in the bed sleeping, and then like somebody grabbed me and threw me on the floor at the foot of the bed. And this whole time, I knew somebody was behind my shoulder. It was whatever did that thing to me. That's who was standing over my shoulder. Because I was trying to turn my head, but I couldn't see. I couldn't turn my head to see what it was, but it was just, I knew it was there. I knew it was there, and it was just glaring at me. And then something said to me, get back on the bed. Hurry up and get back on the bed. Well, actually, I had looked up, and y'all, this is the freaky part. I looked up and I saw myself laying in the bed, and I saw Henry laying over here in the bed. So I know that was my soul, okay? I mean, y'all, I didn't have any kind of strength on that floor. Like, I felt, this is how I keep saying, when demons are around, I don't have any strength, okay? Now I do. Now I do, because I'm closer to the Lord. But still, I can feel their presence, okay? And I said something told me to hurry up and get back on the bed. I don't know where this, well, I do know now where this strength came from. It came from Christ, okay? Because he helped me, and I don't know if somebody lifted me up and threw me back in the bed. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what happened. And then I woke up, and of course I wanted to look right over there because I knew that's where the thing was, but I couldn't see it while I was in the flesh, okay? So basically what happened? What happened was that freaking demon snatched my very soul out of my body and freaking threw it on the floor. That's what the heck happened, dude. Okay, yes, I had some crazy things happen to me, some crazy dreams, some crazy experiences, but just know that you can overcome all of that with Jesus Christ. He is the only way. I keep saying this, He is the only way, people. So I don't know how long this video is, but I was trying not to get too long into it. I guess I already told in my other video about the devil tried to kill me. Yes, so I'm not going to add it in here. But finally, I got all my dreams out there, plus experiences in the physical realm. So, you know, if somebody comes across this video and, you know, I'm hoping I can help someone who's having these experiences or whatever, and thinking that they're crazy. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. Like I said, there's a spiritual realm all around us. We just can't see. Okay? There's either demons or angels around you. Okay? And this stuff is very real. Okay? I've seen enough to be convinced that this stuff is real. Not only that, but the stuff that I've been experiencing since I gave my life to Christ. And it hasn't been demonic stuff, really. I mean, of course, Satan will try to come up against me because he hates that I'm on the right track now, but nothing he can do. Nothing he can do. And now that I got my kid under the protection of Christ, and I couldn't do that, she had to accept him in her heart. There's nothing he can do now. Absolutely nothing he can do to this family. So, I just want y'all to know these are dark times ahead of us. We are living in the last days. I continue to say this. Demonic possession is on the rise. It's really crazy. If you step off from your social media sites and your TV shows and your garbage political bullcrap, then you can actually see what's going on. You know, they want to keep everyone in a state of spiritual darkness so they can control you, basically. Okay, a lot of y'all out there spiritually dead. You know, what I explained to y'all, you know, for the ones who are spiritually asleep or dead, this doesn't make any sense, you know. Some people would try to classify this as, oh, it's just dreams, or you did the whole thing what I just said, everything was just dreams and nothing comes out of that, it was just dreams and blah blah blah. Hey, believe what you want to believe, sweetie, but we about to see some crazy stuff, if y'all haven't already. Some crazy stuff that scientists is not going to be able to explain. There's things that happen on this earth, paranormal activities, all of that scientists cannot explain. They came out and said it themselves. And a lot of scientists recently dropped away from the Darwin's theory. Like, you won't even believe. Like, they don't believe in it anymore. Doesn't make any sense, does it? So, I just hope you guys take something from this video, and I hope y'all get to Christ before it's too late. Okay? I really do. I'm sure that's not the last of my dreams, because I dream all the time. So I'll keep y'all posted, and I'll continue to make videos until YouTube tries to shut me down, or Facebook. But either way, I'm getting the message out there if I have to go out in the streets and do it. Okay? Alright, God bless you guys. Love you. Have a good one.